Now in today's video, we're going to give you a brutally honest review about Scrivener and give it the Screenwriting Mentor review process, which is my way of scoring how good I think the software actually is. Now in that final score, we're going to look at the following perspectives. We're going to look at cost, we're going to look at features, ease of use, resources, and my favorite, communication. So stick around and see how Scrivener stacks up. Now I actually used Scrivener prior to starting my YouTube channel when I was first looking into getting screenwriting. Now I thought it was a good basic program, but after several months I ended up going to use more Movie Magic. And the reason why it wasn't because of anything Scrivener was doing wrong, but Movie Magic just had more ancillary programs. And when we get to Movie Magic, I'll talk about those. But yeah, I mean, there wasn't anything bad about Scrivener. I enjoyed working on it, but at that point in time, it didn't really work with my workflow. However, today I'm excited to give it a try again to see if it does fit my current workflow, to see how it works for you, because I've actually had some people say, hey, is there a good screenwriting software program that you can also write a novel on? Well, guess what? If it is, it's going to be Scrivener. So let's take a look and dive in. Now, our first category today, we're going to look at price. Now, Scrivener at the time of this video is going for $49.95. Now, if you looked at my fade-in review, you know that fade-in includes all the updates for free. Now, Scrivener is a little different, and so let's talk about that. Now, from their webpage, this is what they say. They say minor updates are free, but occasionally when we release more major updates that are paid for. For instance, if you buy Scrivener 3, and then all the 3.x updates will be free, 3.1, 3.2, yada, yada, yada. But when one day we release Scrivener 4, then you'll need to pay an upgrade fee if you want it to be updated. Now, to Scrivener's credit, they don't release a major update very often. I mean, there's been a lot of years between version 1, version 2, and version 3. Now, unlike Final Draft that seems to have a new version every year or every other year, I don't notice that with Scrivener. And the other thing I liked about their particular pricing model is there's not a subscription fee, which is a lot of people are going to, and I'm not a big fan of, because I'm like, I get it that they can always improve their product a little bit by having the subscription fee, but I also feel that if you've watched my review on Squibbler, that subscription fees don't always come through, and I feel like when I look at like video games too, when you have a subscription model, it doesn't necessarily mean the quality of the product is going to be better. And so I'm really happy that Scrivener, as of this writing, is just going with, it's a low price too, $49.95 for entry into using a wonderful program. And we'll talk a little bit more here in just a couple moments about the different features of what's going on. And one final note on price, $50 is pretty reasonable when you think of how powerful this is. When you look at it compared to Movie Magic or Final Draft, which are in the hundreds of dollars, or even Fade-In, which is just a little bit more expensive than this one, but is still more expensive. So our next category is features. So let's explore on their website and see what we get with Scrivener. Now, as we take a look at Scrivener's main page, you'll notice that it's not like Scrivener.com or something like that. It's actually called literatureandlatte.com. So just so you know as you go to take a look, and I'll have the link in the description below. So let's take a look at some of the features that we see for Scrivener 3. Now, from blank page to book your way, Scrivener unites everything you need to write, research, and arrange long documents in a single powerful app. At its heart is a simple ring binder metaphor that allows you to gather your materials and flick between different parts of your manuscript, notes, and references with ease. And I'll show this when we get to the ease of use. I really enjoyed that, and they really deliver when it comes to that. Again, the thing that you're going to sort of notice about Scrivener, it sort of gets summed up in this next step. It says piece it together, switch instantly between editing your script one section at a time, and together as a whole. Working on a long text is easier when you break it into small parts, and Scrivener gives you complete control over how small or how large these pieces are. And so that's one of the beauties of Scrivener, is the ability to break your project into small manageable chunks, work on that manageable chunk, and so that you feel energized and you keep working on it scene after scene or page after page. So some of the other features, familiar text editing styles, you're able to import stuff Final Draft scripts, images, PDF documents, and during my ease of use section, it was really easy for me to download a previous script I had just gotten worked on in Final Draft. It went right into Scrivener, no ifs, ands, or buts, and I was actually able to use that, and you'll see that here in the next section. It's got a wonderful corkboard feature, which is always one of my favorite features of any screenwriting software. It has an outliner as well too. It's got templates and icons, great for screenwriting. Tools for nonfiction. One of the things that I think works really well is the view document side by side. It doesn't sound like the really big feature, but when you're able to take, like for this next part, when I use an ease of use, I'm able to put both my scripts up and write in one panel while I have my other script up in the other panel. I don't need to have it down next to me. So it was really easy to look from the page from one side of the screen to the other side of the screen, as opposed to looking down and then looking up, down, looking up. It worked really well. I didn't think I really appreciated this view as much, or this feature as much before, but doing it for this review, I really found that feature to be cool. Full screen writing. Set targets and track progress. Some people, I know that's very helpful to have, is just to either write for a number of minutes or words. Metadata. Use metadata to record and find useful information. Color code sections using labels. Track the progress of revisions by applying a status. Collections lets you create lists of related documents from anywhere in your project. You can choose your tools. Different writing products demand different thought processes, and Scrivener's flexible interface adapts to the work at hand. Arrange index cards along colored lines on the corkboard, perfect for tracking different storylines or thematic developments. Experiment and place cards anywhere in the free form mode. So like I said, it's really got some wonderful thing. You can print, export, and publish. Snapshots right from anywhere. So that's the nice thing. There is a iOS version, a Mac version, and a Windows version. And if I remember, the price for the iOS version, I want to say, is only $19.99. Let's take a look and see how much that cost, just to see if I'm right. And there you go, $19.99 in the Apple Store. And the neat thing about this Scrivener app is it's the full program. They don't, so if you just have an iPad, go for this. This is the full $49 put into your iPad. I mean, that is just freaking awesome. I mean, that's better than Final Draft and better than Fade In. So there was a lot of useful stuff to go through. So let's head over to the next category, which is ease of use. And I sort of teased that through this last part of the video. So let's take a look as I write some of my screenplay. Now, to make it uniform, I'm going to type, I don't think it ended up being 3 to 5 pages, but I'm using the same type of script that I've used for other reviews as well too, to keep it sort of uniform. So let's get working on our Scrivener script. Say that fast 5 times. So it's really easy to do. So I'll flip over to where we're at in the program. So I just pulled up Scrivener. And right now I am going to open up or create a new screenplay. So the nice thing too is when you jump into these projects, when you jump into the screen here, it starts with an interactive tutorial, a Scrivener user manual, as well as video tutorials. So this is one of the things I really like about Scrivener, is that it gives you a lot of resources just even before you open the document that you want to do. And as you can see along this left side here, there's a lot of different things you can start. You can do a blank template. You can have fiction, nonfiction, script writing, and miscellaneous. We're going to click script writing. And then into that, you can see that we have a lot of different options. We have the BBC radio scene style, BBC tape drama, comic script, documentary script, screenplay, stage play UK, and stage play US. We're going to select this script. So we're going to create that. And I'm going to do test 2. All right, let's take that. Okay, so we're getting started here. Now, for simplicity's sake, as I did this, I actually forgot my draft that I was working on. I didn't have a paper copy, so I had to ended up importing it into the document, which is our fast screenplay draft 1.1. I know it's a very original title, isn't it? So the nice thing about this, though, is I put it under the research section, and then I can simply click this button here, which will allow me to have a new scene. And then I can double click on here and it'll pull up in that extra scene for me. So now I can just look from right to left. It's really pretty neat. And so I can go back to here, and then I want to type in interior house night. So let's just see how this all works out. So far so good. So what I ended up doing with Lucy is I just tabbed, and that gave me right into writing her name, and then I just hit enter again, and I'm right into the dialogue. So far so good, pretty seamless. Back to action again. And you can see where you're at with this little bar down here. It tells you that you're in an action thing right now. So again, tab gets me to character. Again, right. It's got a nice feature here. So here's something really interesting too. So since I brought my screenplay in and I hit L, I have a character named Linda and also a character named Lucy. These are all going to change, but that's a whole different story. So it's nice that it remembers that from the other screenplay that I loaded in to copy alongside of. So that's a really nice feature. I can just go down, select Lucy, automatically puts me into dialogue. And you can also look right next to it too. If we hit tab again, it'll put us in the parentheticals. So looking really good, real easy to use so far. Pretty standard stuff. All right, so now I'm going down to the next scene heading. I was having some problems with the tab because the tab was sending it too far over. So what I ended up doing was just going to this menu here, selecting scene heading, which looks like the default key is S. And so that's good to know. And I'm back to being able to write interior. And again, it highlights that. As I'm using Scrivener right now, it's really been really easy. Again, the nice thing about this is I pulled up another tab, so I can, as you can see, I can type as I go along. There's not anything that's really hard or difficult so far. Very standard play, and so it's been really easy to do that. So let's try a couple of different things right now. I'm going to add a couple of things to the script. I'm going to try parentheticals, which for some programs, I'm looking at you, Squibbler, not Scrivener, but Squibbler. Squibbler had a really hard time doing parentheticals. And a lot of other programs do have a hard time with parentheticals. So we're going to give that a try next, try the parentheticals, see what happens. And then we'll also try some dual dialogue to make sure Scrivener can handle all the different types of things that we could possibly do for writing. Real quick, all I did so from Lucy, which was I was in the character screen, I hit tab, automatically brings the parentheticals. Easy as that. Hit return, and we have our parenthetical formatted just right. So that looks pretty good. Let's try a little bit of let's try dual dialogue and see what happens. So all right, so on first glance I can't find how to do dual dialogue right off the bat, so I'm going to see how well this works. Search Scrivener for dual dialogue. No results found for dual dialogue. All right, so let's take a look online. All right, so I was able to find, after doing some YouTubing and some Googling, I figured out how Scrivener does dual dialogue. It's not very easy. First of all, you need to just basically, as you can see, I just highlight this, highlight the particular text that I do. And so I've actually have just gone through and done it. I highlighted the text. I go up to Format. I hit Preserve Formatting. And that will leave me with this particular box here, which when we export it to a final draft, we'll have both the text next to each other in proper format. the the thing that I was disappointed with Scrivener in doing this was that there was nothing in their help section about doing that. I typed in dual dialogue, and as you can see, nothing popped up from dual dialogue. I'd like to thank the Writers Territory for helping out with figuring out how to figure this particular how to figure dual dialogue out in Scrivener. So thank you again, Writers Territory, for your video on that. So let's take a moment really quickly to look at Scrivener and just the basic UI that you get to work with. So as you see here, it looks pretty easy to deal with. You have a scene, which is where we ended up putting our screenplay. Like I said before, it was really easy to add a screen. And so I just click this little button here, and the screen I had before has been pulled out, and I can look at it. But if I just want to go back to the regular screen, boom, it's there. You have your title page here, where you can work on putting in your title pages in there. Characters, you can put documents here. So if you have like a Word document you want to throw in there, it's easy to throw in there. If you have pictures, same with places. If you have notes, all these things are really easy to put in there. Research, we have my fast draft that I put in there. You can take a look at sample screenplay format. You can look through this as well too. And like I said, it's a sample screenplay that they automatically give you. You got some template sheets, and you also have stuff to put in the trash. And so basically, like I said, this is just like a big binder. So think of Scrivener as a big binder where you can place different things. So all your research that you need is great. It's right there where you need it. And like I said, the nice thing too is if you want to look at it, you can just pull it up and put it in a separate window. So if you want to take a look and have your picture up while you're typing away, feel free to do that. Or if you have a list of notes, like a character, you're writing a character, and you want those characters' traits and notes and dialogue to be up on the screen so you can sort of see like their catchphrases or something along those lines, something that really reminds you of that character, you can have it up while you're writing. So Scrivener is really pretty, it was pretty easy. I will dock it a little bit for not making dual dialogue that easy. Now, to be fair, not every screenplay has dual dialogue. Do you need dual dialogue in every screenplay? No, but it should be easier to get at than what it is in here. But other than that, I thought it was pretty easy to use, having used a bunch of different programs in the past. I do like a lot of the power that you have in when you look at how I can add like stuff to characters, places, notes, research, how easy it is to do that type of stuff, and to be able to pull up and look at it so I don't have to fiddle with stuff on the side. I really appreciated that from Scrivener. So yeah, I think like I said before too, just looking at the UI one more time, you can see how easy it is up here with all this other things. I mean, it's basically just like a word processor. It's really pretty easy to use. The nice thing too is over each of the different tools, it automatically comes up and tells you what each of the different things are, which I think is very helpful and makes the quality of life with using Scrivener very good. So this leads us to our next section, which is on resources. So the nice thing is I'm back at the main menu before I get started, and you have these wonderful tutorials that are right here. So we can click video tutorials, and it automatically pulls up, well, we'll see if it automatically pulls up several tutorials or not. This will be interesting whether it works or not. So interesting. So the video tutorials are not present there. Let's try an interactive tutorial. Tutorials is an interactive tutorial, walks you through all the main features. So let's take a look through the tutorial real quick. So here we go. Here is a basic tutorial on how to use Scrivener. So this is sort of nice that you can walk your way through it, and it covers the key concepts. What is Scrivener? Who is it aimed after? How to do research? How the main interface looks like? You know, the inspector, getting organized, splitting the editor. So it looks like it's very well done. And so I'm impressed with that particular resource going through here. Now there is a video. I want to see if I can pull it up on YouTube, but I want to say there's a video that it does exactly the same thing. Let's take a look at the Scrivener user manual real quick. to see. That comes in as a PDF. So if you're wanting to read the PDF, all right. Well, that was interesting. Let's try opening it one more time and just going through. So let's try one more time and going through here, and we'll just take a look and see if it'll close it down on me again. No thanks. So it dropped me out, but it looks like I can basically go wherever I want. Custom icons. Okay. So again, this is the written documentation looks pretty good. So let's take a look and see. Again, the video tutorials didn't start, but I know there's one that I got to watch last time. So let me see if I can pull that up real quick. All right, let's take a look at how many videos they have. So it pulled up really easy. It was called, I have it under Scrivener app. They have getting your way around Scrivener, useful tips about backing up your work, finding what you've written, finding your words, customizing Scrivener, the heart of any project. So they look like they have a lot of good long tutorials as well as short tutorials. And so this one I was looking at was talking mainly about Word, and I believe a lot of these things are good for just for Mac as well too. So I think it's good that you can find that. The other interesting thing too is we just do a basic YouTube search about YouTube Scrivener tutorials. You have a bunch of ones that pop up right away. Learn Scrivener in 20 minutes. How to use Scrivener to write a novel, plus my 3 favorite tools. Scrivener for Dummies on screen demo. How to use Scrivener tutorial part overview 1. How to use Scrivener to write a novel. So you see there's a lot of videos talking about how to use Scrivener. And so that's something nice. There's a lot of nice resources out there. And they, like I said, they have their own channel on YouTube, which I really appreciate as well too, to help with things and to figure out things as well too. Let's take a look at the main site to take a look and see about Learn and Support. So let's take a look here. At least in the app, it was hard. Let's take a look and see if they have video tutorials. And you can change this for Mac OS, Windows, or iOS, so that's nice. So just on the main page, getting started, the core concepts, an introduction to Scrivener, finding your way around. So there's YouTube videos. You can also go to the site and look at different videos as well too. So I think this is really nice. There's a lot of nice videos, user manuals. They have forums as well too to explore. And that's where I actually asked them a question myself, and I got an answer, and which I'll tell you about here in a little bit. They have some common questions: Scrivener for Mac, Scrivener for Windows. So it seems like, and they help us to improve our products, contact us, and which we did. Like I said, we'll talk about that here in a little bit. So there's a lot of different avenues and resources for someone who's trying to learn Scrivener. So know that there's a lot of other reviews and opinions and videos out there. So if you're having problems, you can always ask me as well too. But you can take a look at these to find the answers to your problems. So I think that's good that they have a lot of different ways that they're interacting with their customers. Finally, communication. Now, to make this part of the review as even-handed as possible, I've been sending the software supports the exact same question, basically how to use your parentheticals. And I do that particular question because I want to see if they get a little pissy with me, because a lot of times parentheticals are really easy to find and they're really easy to perform. So I'm checking to see if their customer service is really sort of patient with us. Will they answer the question at all? And the neat thing was Scrivener did just that. It was 24 hours again, and I got a response. And they double checked and they said, "Does this make sure that we answer your question?" I thought that was just really well done. So well done, Scrivener. I really appreciate that. Compared to some of the other programs I've used where there's hardly any customer support, or they've been actually not helpful at all. Scrivener support, I think, was very helpful. So good job. So here we go. As we finish this review up on Scrivener, let's rate it on my 5 real systems, where 5 is great and 1 is, I wouldn't know if I would touch that type of software. So Now for price, I give Scrivener 5 reels at $49.99 plus minor upgrades. I think is great. Now I know some people might push back on me and they say, well, but in your fade in review, you gave fade in 5 reels and they take care of all the upgrades. Now this would probably be a little shorter or a little lower in terms of reels if Scrivener would put out a new product every year, every 6 months. But there's a long development for Scrivener, so I haven't yet had to pay for an upgrade yet. And so we'll have to wait and see how much they charge for that. But for as long as I've used this particular type of, or this particular version of the software, I've been quite happy with that. And I also like this price because it's a one-time fee, which sadly many people in the industry are moving away from, and they're going to a subscription model, which I'm not really thrilled about. I don't know about you, but I don't like having to pay for my software every month. I think it should be a one-time fee. Call me old school, call me a boomer, but I would rather just pay once than every month. Features. It took me a little while to sort of figure out what I wanted to give for Scrivener. I think I'm going to probably give it a 4. It's got some really good tools for writing novels and screenplays, so that's why I sort of gave it a 4. Otherwise, it's pretty bare bones. I mean, there's nothing that really makes it stand out so much in terms of features. Everything that they sort of pointed out in terms of features, I've seen in most other screenwriting software. There isn't the nice thing, it does have a nice research tab where you can put a lot of stuff in. It's nice that you're able to be able to see the research that you're working on at the same time. So I like all those type of things. Is it incredible? No. I think if it didn't include the ability to write a novel or other type of work, I probably would have rated this more like a 3. But because of that, because of the way it works with the novels, I think I'm going to give it a 4. Ease of use. Again, another one that I've been trying to sort of figure out after I've been using it. I think I'm going to go with 4 reels. There is a learning curve with Scrivener. I'm not going to say it was really easy to start with. Not as easy as Fade In, where you could just sort of type and go. There is a little bit more complexity to Scrivener, that it didn't have an easy way to do dual dialogue. And the funny part of that, even when we left from the ease of use section, you can see that it just gave it a blue outline. And you're only going to see that when you do the fade in, if you compile it according to a fade in script. If you put it in as a PDF or put it in or if you compile it in a different manner, you're not going to see that formatting difference. And I had to hunt for that. It was not easy to find that dual dialogue function. I had to go outside of the Scrivener website. I didn't see any forums on it. I tried typing into the program. It didn't show you how to do that. I actually ended up having to go to an outside YouTube channel in order to find how to do that. But that's just dual dialogue. All the rest of it was really pretty easy. I mean, it was really easy jumping between dialogue and action and headings, scene headings and stuff like that. It was really pretty slick. And like I said, pulling up a separate screen so I could look at my research right next to it. Holy cow, that was amazing. I didn't realize, because a lot of times I do, when I retype this stuff, I have my script right in front of me and I'll retype it. But this was a hell of a lot easier doing it this way. So like I said, I think I'm pretty comfortable as I talk to you guys about it, about giving ease of use about 4 reels. I think it deserves that. Resources, 4 reels. They had a lot of stuff, I think, on the website for Scrivener, which I thought was really impressive. They had that long list of videos. In the app itself, I was disappointed, as you can see from the video, that we weren't able to access some of those videos from my Scrivener program. But going to the website, I was able to access all those programs or all those video files. So I think that just works just fine. They also have a ton of other printed resources if you're who wants to read through it. And in the app, it was really easy to look at those things too. And those actually pulled up, so those worked as well. So And like I said, on YouTube, there is a bunch of videos about how to use Scrivener. So overall, I have to give it 4 reels. If you need resources, I think Scrivener, you can't go wrong. There's a lot of resources out there to answer your questions. Communication, 5 reels. My mandatory question was fine. It was great. It actually got answered pretty well. You can't beat that. I mean, like I said, like I said before, I've had a couple software programs where they don't even respond to me. I mean, granted, it is a dumb question, but you still need to be responding to your customer base. And right now I'm batting 2 out of 3 for companies and their abilities to answer questions quickly as well as professionally. Scrivener has some great people who answer questions quickly. Good work. So here you go. Out of 25 reels, Scrivener gets 22. It's a good piece of software. Again, I can definitely see why screenwriters and novelists like using this one. It has a lot of good features. It definitely doesn't break the bank. It's really affordable, really cheap. And like I said, if you get bored of writing screenplays or you get bored of writing a novel, you can switch up to something really easy to do. And it has a ton of resources if you get stuck. I mean, you can't beat that. The people are professional when you ask them questions, and they get back to you fairly quickly. So if you got the money, it's $50. It's $50. It's well worth it. And plus, if you get tired of writing scripts, you can write books. I mean, this is a very versatile piece of writing software. And so it makes it easy and comfortable to write a screenplay. Yes, there's a little drawback. There is a little bit of a learning curve with it, but it's nothing that a couple of maybe an hour or two you wouldn't have down and get going. So like I said, it's not, in my opinion, it's probably not as good as Fade In. But I think, like I said, if you're looking for an entry-level software program that allows you to do it and to do it well, look, it does have a free trial. The other thing too, if you have an iPad and you do most of your writing off the iPad, get the app. It's $19.99 and it does the same thing. It's really cool that they were able to do this in the app. So get that if you're just trying to give it a try. $20. I mean, for Pete's sakes, to have a software that works as well as this. Now, if you like this kind of content, please subscribe to my YouTube channel for more product reviews, a playlist on how turning your idea into first draft, and much, much more. Now, if you have a particular software you want a brutally honest review about, please feel free to leave it in the comments section below. Well, until the next video, write well and live well.